Hey y'all, and welcome to the Max Life. So I know it has been a little while since we've given you guys a VRBO update, and a lot of you guys have asked me. I have gotten some emails asking how that played out, and we're still not done, but I'm going to kind of tell you what has happened and what's transpired because I feel like this may help some of you guys. So let's jump into that now. Okay, so many of you know that we took a trip to Orlando. Actually, it was during Hurricane Helene. So the end of September, we took a trip down to Orlando and visited some of the parks there. We have traveled literally, guys, everywhere from Colorado to Destin to Texas to East Tennessee. So we've really been all over. And typically, we use VRBO, that not always, but in the past we have used VRBO a lot. We've never had any problems with the company, but mostly we've never had any problems with the owner. You know, and if we walk into a place and it's like there's a couple of ladybugs on the floor, or the parking may not be great, or the porch needs a little repair, it's like, guys, there are some things we just don't make a big fuss about. So we typically don't leave reviews, even if there's just like some minor things that needs to be done. We may private text the owner and say, hey, we noticed this, or hey, we noticed that. But then there are some things that I feel like guests need to know, and that is where I really feel like this owner completely dropped the ball. So I'm going to get into that right now. If you are new to our channel and are not familiar with kind of what has transpired, so we went down to Orlando, we booked this place, we've gone all over. Guys, there is 8 of us all together, so by the time, and usually we take our food with us, so by the time we go somewhere, we pack for 8 people and take a couple of coolers. We can't get everything in our van, so we usually have a little small pull-behind trailer that we take with us. We have taken it all over. We've never had any issues. So we booked this place in Orlando. Obviously, we always read all of the details, and we get to this place and come to find out the next day that it is an HOA. It is in an HOA community, which means they have all these certain rules that are not disclosed with the people that have paid to rent this property. So we get a text from the owner, and they tell us that we can't bring the trailer back. We have to drop it off. They recommended some park. We drove through the park and was like, that doesn't really look like a safe area. We're not going to do that. So we then decided to go to a public area, and we thought, well, if we can't keep the trailer with us, we'll just drop it off here in this public parking lot. And it was on our way to and from the kind of areas that we were going to be at, where SeaWorld and Universal and some of the parks were going to be. So we thought that will kind of help us keep an eye on the trailer while we're in and out mornings and nights. So we ended up getting towed because of that. We paid $175 to get our trailer back. We reached back out to the owners of this property and we're like, listen, this is not going to work. We don't feel comfortable where you told us. It is not a safe looking area. We have concerns about that, and we also have been towed, so we don't really have an option here. We will just keep our trailer with us all day, and we're usually not back till well after dark. It is usually like 12 to 14 hours, like we're not even there. So we told them we would pay extra to take the trailer into the parks with us, so it would not be anywhere on the property. Well, guys, we get a message back from them and say that's not going to work. You have to leave it at the park. It cannot be on our property, period. So, and then they threaten us with fining us $1,000 if we come back with the trailer. So at this point in time, when we get that message, we decided to call the police department and ask questions about the area. And this was their recommendation. So we're staying in an area called Kissimmee, which is kind of on the outskirts of Orlando. And we told the police department the area we were in and the park that was recommended. So this is what they suggested. Do not unhook your trailer for any reason whatsoever. They told us that not only is that a non-English speaking community, which we had come to find that out really quick, because when you need to communicate with other people in the area and they don't speak English, that's very hard to do. I actually had one guy that I was trying to talk to who had to use a translator app on his phone because we couldn't talk, he couldn't speak English. So yeah, we found that out really quick. But also, they told us that this was a heavy populated homeless area. We found that out really quick as well. So the police department suggested us not to leave our trailer anywhere. They said, if you unhook it, we actually told them about them, told them that we had been towed. They said, well, you better be glad that you were towed, because I'm actually surprised that within the first couple of hours that you left it, that it didn't get stolen, because we have a high theft, high crime in that area, and I would suggest for you guys not to do that. That's where we're at, guys. And on top of that, not the next day, but the next day, so in 2 days, we were looking for a hurricane to come through. It was not projected to affect us, maybe some wind and rain, but we weren't exactly sure of what that was going to look like. So that's where we were. We were told by this owner, if you come back, we're going to fine you $1,000. The police department is telling us if you unhook your trailer, it's a couple of $1,000 trailer. It's a small trailer. It's basically brand new. It's only a couple of years old. There's nothing wrong with it. It's smaller than a car, y'all. So we were told that we were not allowed to bring that back. We can't just leave that, obviously knowing that there's a huge chance that could get stolen. So in this time of all of this, after the owner, basically our property manager, I'm actually not sure exactly who we were talking to, but tells us we're going to fine you if you come back. We start asking a couple of questions, trying to tell them trying to communicate with them. Guys, they refuse to talk with us at they completely cut off communication. Basically, after they told us that they were going to fine us after we come back, we had messaged them a couple of times on the Messenger app that's like basically on VRBO. They would not respond to us at all anymore. So we decided that it was probably best for us to just leave the property. So we went that night, we gathered up all of our stuff. We went on the opposite side of Orlando, which by the way is a whole lot nicer than Kissimmee. So if you ever are thinking about going to that area in Orlando, I would highly advise not to be in the Kissimmee area at all. Find somewhere else. So we were in the process of doing all of that. Like I said, in 2 days, the hurricane was coming. So it was a little bit of a stressful time. We left and we decided that we would just deal with VRBO once we got back home. Because here's the thing, y'all. We only stayed 2 nights at the original place that we had rented. Now, we checked in on Sunday. We stayed Sunday night and Monday night. We were booked until the following Monday. So, granted, this is all already paid for. We've stayed 2 of those nights, and then we were basically threatened and we had to leave. So we left. We said we'll deal with all that when we get back home. So we've double booked. So we've paid for a place that we had to leave and then booked somewhere else because they told us we couldn't come back because we have a little tiny trailer in the middle of a hurricane. So we did what we needed to do. We left. And so we get back home. Of course, the news is coming out. There's a lot of devastation going on with Hurricane Helene, things coming out in the Carolinas. So we're shocked. We're trying to, absorb all of that information. So we spent about a week gathering up supplies, trying to kind of get that to our Baptist Association here so that they could help. We juggled that. Got home, got settled, got caught up on chores. Colby began to reach out to VRBO. Now this is where it gets really frustrating. So Colby began to reach out to VRBO. He actually called and talked to them for like 10 minutes on the phone, explained the situation. We gave them all of our account information. We actually told them that we wanted to email our receipt from the other place during those dates, the amount that we had paid, and so that they could see that we had left. And about 10 or 15 minutes into that conversation with VRBO, they hung up on Colby. So initially, we give them the benefit of the doubt. We were like, okay, I don't know if we lost service, maybe they lost service. And Colby opened up, like in the next day or two, he opened up a chat. As soon as he gave them our information 2 times, back to back, our email address that is connected to our account, they closed the chat. So not only once, but they did it twice. So that kind of was like a big cue to us that VRBO is not going to help us. I can't believe they did that, but then at the same time I can. So then I thought, you know what? We typically don't leave reviews, but I do feel like people need to know about this area. There's a lot of homeless, there's a lot of high crime there. We were not aware of that when we booked, or obviously we would have never stayed. And the most important thing is this owner is being allowed to rent out this house without fully disclosing information such as it being in an HOA, which again, like I said, has to go by X amount of rules. And people that are coming into that property need to know those things. And we were not only threatened by the owners, but then we had somebody actually walk on the property while we were there and tape a note to the door. So people need to know that. I don't feel like that's something that should be swept under the rug. That needs to be fully disclosed with people that are going to be there renting that property. So I was going to go in and leave a review, and in order to do that, you're supposed to be able to log into your VRBO account. You go under trips, and under trips you have like future trips and past trips. Well, under your past trips, it pulls up all the places that you stay. Under your past trips, and y'all, because I've never done this before, I actually had to Google the steps, and then I also went to YouTube and watched a video, and this is where it gets really interesting. So I go under my past trips, and then it'll tell you, you were booked here, you were booked here, you were booked here. And after you've booked a trip and you're gone and it's closed out, you're supposed to be able to go back and leave a review on your stay. So I wanted to go in and leave a review to let people know about the area and let people know about the HOA rules, and that the owners would really not communicate with us after they told us that we had to leave or they were going to charge us $1,000. They would not communicate with us anymore after that. So I wanted to let people know before they rented from this property, they need to know these things. Y'all, under the trips, all of my trips that I have booked in the past, granted I've never left a review, there is no place to leave a review. So I'm watching YouTube, I'm following the Google steps, and it says, you open up, you go here, leave a review. There is no leave a review link for us anymore, nowhere. So that has been disabled from our account at some point in time between when Colby talked to VRBO and when I decided to go leave a review to let other people know. So we can't even leave reviews on VRBO anymore because they literally took that away from us. Like I said, I can't believe they did that, but at the same time, I really can. So I made all this video to let y'all know what VRBO did to us. I feel like if the owner's not going to stand in responsibility for at least, and we're honest people, y'all, if you don't know my family before you start throwing stones at us because you don't watch us and you don't really know us, and I understand that. For all of our viewers that have watched us for years and years and years, like we've been doing this YouTube thing for 6 years, and you guys know that we stand on biblical truths. Therefore, honesty is very important to us. And when we talked to VRBO, we weren't demanding all of our money back. We told them we would be more than happy to pay for the time that we was there, but for the days that we were not there, we wanted our money back. So that's where we were at now. So y'all don't be trying to bend that out of perspective, because that's just the way it was. And that's all we're asking for. So since VRBO is not working with us, the owners for sure didn't work with us, but VRBO is not working with us either. I can literally tell that our account, I won't say that it has been suspended, but it has been restricted in some ways because we can't chat with the agents. It keeps cutting us off as soon as we send them our information, and we can't even leave reviews. but other people can. So I know that our account has been manipulated in some way. So our next step is to do this. We're going to reach out to our credit card company. We're going to explain to them what happened. Same thing. We're not looking for a full refund. We're more than happy to we'll even pay for the cleaning fee, okay, for the days that we were there, for it to be cleaned up behind us or whatever. But for the nights that we were not there, we were forking out money somewhere else because we were not fully disclosed that this property was HOA. They wouldn't allow trailers, even though there was 2 parking spots right in the front. That was not causing any problems whatsoever. In the middle of a hurricane, they forced us to leave by threatening us with $1,000. Just not good business practice. And since I can't tell people online that would be looking at the property, I'm just telling you guys to be aware and be warned that if you're going to the Orlando area, do not stay in the Kissimmee area. Because the majority of their houses are HOAs, and I don't know about the other ones disclosing that information, but ours was not. I would just avoid the area altogether, because if you find yourself in a problem, you're going to have complications getting help because nobody there can speak English. The homeless population is really high and the crime rate is really high. So I would just tell you to avoid the area altogether. From my experience and where we were at in that part. So that is my take on all the things that have rolled out from VRBO. So I just wanted you guys to be aware of that. If you can find somewhere else to book or you have other options, VRBO is definitely not looking out for customer interest. So sadly, that's just the way it is. So we're going to reach out to the credit card company and hopefully everything will work out. We just want our money back for the night so we didn't stay. And some of you guys had been looking for updates there, so that's where we're at. Our next step, since we've tried to work with VRBO, is not working out. We are going to reach out to the credit card company. And the last time, this is only 2 times in our entire life we've ever had to file a dispute. This is one of them. But just like with the gift card thing, you know, most of you guys know that. If you don't, you can go back and watch those videos. You know, I cannot see paying somebody for something when you're not getting a service. Just like with the gift card, guys, we paid $125 to get that gift card. When we walked out of the door, it was scammed. That is just not right. Walmart should be standing in responsibility for that, and since they didn't, we had to reach out to our credit card company, and literally in one day they fixed the problem. So I'm hoping that when we call them and explain to them what happened, that they will fix the problem. So guys, that's an update of where we're at. VRBO is not helping us at all. I feel like this whole Walmart thing is happening again, but I do have hopes in our card company, so we'll see. I will let you guys know where we go from here, what happens from here, because a lot of you guys have asked me that. So there you go. God bless and happy homesteading, y'all.